Folks, there are some things I would like to address that we're coming up with in this local days, these recent days here. Oprah Winfrey says, a new day is on the horizon. Really? You're sure of that? What's going on today has been going on for centuries, and it will continue to go on for centuries. And I'll tell you why. The King Solomon said in his writing under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit in the book of Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. Well, this man, he groped me, he touched me. 20 years later, 10, 15, 20 years later, you're saying something about it? I'll tell you why, you gold-digging person. And I use that term quite loosely. It wasn't reported by you. It wasn't reported by you simply because it wasn't financially or positionally effective for you to report it then. The difference, I heard it said in a movie one time, difference between big hookers and little hookers is little hookers want their money up front. The big hookers take it in favors. These women who claim that these directors groped them, notice the word I said, claim. It's very possible that they did. It's very possible that they did. So if it was such a devastating event in your life, why in the Sam Hill did you wait so long to say something? I'll tell you why. Because you needed that person to be allowed, which you did. You allowed it. Just Say No has been around for centuries. You allowed it. And you allowed it because it was profitable for you at that time. And now all of a sudden, oh, I am a victim. Oh, see, this person did this to me. Really? Did they really do that to you? Or did they do that with you? Or did they do that for you? There is no pity coming out of people who actually know the deal. Okay. Why do you think they call Hollywood Sin City? Why do you think they call Nevada Sin City? This is not new. This has been going on for centuries. Look at Samson and Delilah. Look at everybody in, a lot of people, not everybody, but in the Old Testament, what did Sarah do to Hagar? Here, take my handmaiden and have children through her. You don't think giving your servant, an employee, to the political leader of that area, you don't think that's sexual harassment? Now it's sexual harassment. Then it was concubinage. You think this is new? A new day is on the horizon. Oprah Winfrey, get real, please. If the new day is on the horizon, then why are women wearing revealing clothes? A skirt that's slit all the way up the side, just about to their hip, if not beyond. And what are you showing? Gorgeous legs. What are you showing? Cleavage. Why? Because I'm expressing my womanhood. But if a guy expresses his manliness, then he's gross and he's a pig. Why don't you knock off the double standard, and why don't you actually do what is right? And that is to say, you allowed that person to do what he wanted. You didn't report it at the time. You didn't report it at the time because it wasn't advantageous to you. Now you want to look like a victim. You're not a victim. You're a sleazebag. You've always been a sleazebag. Now you're just a high-paid sleazebag. And it's time for the United States to wake up and see you're being played, bub. You're being played. These women that claim, look at the ones with Bill Cosby. First off, what are you doing with him in the first place? Why are you there drinking and partying and hanging out? What are you doing going into a room with him by himself in the first place? Are you collecting for Easter seals? Come on. Or as they say on the NFL, come on, man. What are you doing there? Did you think he was going to sit there and read poetry to you? Or did you think something wasn't sexually going to happen? Are you that stupid? You can't be that stupid. The late Gilda Radner, in her autobiography, made it very clear, I'll do what I have to do to get what I've got to get, to go where I've got to go. And the only problem is Gilda Radner was honest about it. The rest of you people trying to make yourself look like some kind of paragon of virtue, which you're not. You are enterprising the one commodity that you have. And whether you like it or not, if you're selling your virtue for a part in a movie, if you're selling your virtue to be given priority, if you're selling your virtue to be given position or celebriety, you're a hooker. Plain and simple. You are prostituting yourself for whatever financial gain you can get. It's just legal prostitution. And then you're going to turn around and say, he did this to me. Now the situation is that all of a sudden now, these persons can provide you with gain in another way. And so now you're claiming to be the victim. Who's the victim here? You yourself, or was the victim, is the victim, this guy now that you set up so many years ago to use him now to portray him as the bad guy when you were going along with it in the first place? I mean, did you fight this guy off? Did you tell this guy, hey, cut it out? No, you can't do that. Did you do any of that? Probably not. Probably not. Simply because it wasn't advantageous for you then. Now, all of a sudden you're coming out of the woodwork. Well, this director groped me. This director called me. Like this a two-star general just got his third star taken away from him because he called a staff worker sweetie. Lady, I hope you never go to a Waffle House or a Huddle House because that's all they call you there. Sweetie, darling, baby, honey. All of a sudden now, he called me sweetie. You've never been to a Waffle House, have you? Good heavens. People are making a mountain out of a molehill. Okay, and then they turned around and said at the Golden Globe Awards, all the nominees were men. Even if they would have put a woman in there, doesn't mean that she would have gotten the award. You know? And you wearing black dresses to say me too. Oh, balderdash. Would you people please wake up and smell the coffee and see what these bimbos in Hollywood are doing? And then on top of that, some lady, and I use that term loosely, for 10 hours I walked the streets in New York, and 100 people gave me comments, made sexual comments towards me. What? Please. They complimented, first off, she's wearing a skin-tight bodysuit. Second off, I dare say she didn't look into a mirror and see how she looks before she went out there. And third off, if you don't want people complimenting you on how good you look, then don't look so good. It says that for 10 hours, she walked the streets of New York looking like that. And she got 100 people to say something. What did they say? Everything was complimentary. There were some, that did try to, ask her out for a date or get her phone number. And if you're going out looking like that, are you going to expect someone not to notice it? And yeah, there are. I'm trying to figure out, is she griping because she got 100? No. Yeah, she got 100 people to notice her beauty, and it took 10 hours to do that? Or is she griping because she walked the street for 10 hours and only got 100 people? But, it's also very carefully edited that she only got the men that said something. Were there no women that noticed her as well? And if they weren't on that film. So for 10 hours, she doesn't have anything else to do for 10 hours than to walk the streets in New York looking like a hooker. Or perhaps, she had things in her hand, so perhaps she's looking like she's working out. Who works out for 10 hours? But that's what she did. She didn't have anything else to do with her time but to walk around the streets of New York for 10 hours just so people would say something. And nobody else sees this as staged. I do. I'm not a genius in anybody's category that I know of. But it does take a genius to figure out, this is completely erroneous. This is stupid. This isn't valid. But that's my take on this whole situation. I think it's being completely orchestrated. I think it's being completely victimization of these men folk because they didn't stop it earlier. They didn't say anything about it earlier. Years, folks, years later, they're saying something. Years later, now it bothers them. Oh, it bothered me for years. Well, all of a sudden, now you're bringing it up. You should have brought it up when it happened. You're supposed to be intelligent. You're supposed to be smart. Well, no one would have believed me. They don't believe you now much either. So that's my take on it for what it's worth. There's going to be people who are going to see this. They're going to say, you're nothing but a pig. Well, there's things I can say about you too that are probably just as true. So that being the case, we could agree to disagree. But that's me, Jerry Wingate, and this is what I see.